Hello there, and welcome to the ScrapbookPal's YouTube channel. My name is Terry, and today I will be sharing a card that I created using some products from Honeybee Stamps. So let's get started. Okay, so today I'll be using several products from Honeybee Stamps. The first one here, this one is the Lovely Layers Pansy dies, as well as a You're a Keeper stamp set, and this one here is the Barnwood planks. To start off my card, I went in with the Barnwood planks and I die cut that a few times out of white cardstock. Here you could see, well, I'm trying to show you and I hope you can see it on the video, but all the little details that it shows on the die cuts. Now I'm going in and I'm trying to figure out a layout of the background that I want to create. So here I'm just placing the die cuts on another piece of white cardstock. And once I was happy with the placement with this, I went in with liquid adhesive and I adhered it onto the card panel. And once I have everything adhered on, I went in with my scissors and just snipped off all of the hanging pieces. I usually keep these pieces off to the side just in case if I wanted to create something else in the future. Okay, and once that was all snipped off, I went in with my paper trimmer and I trimmed down the card panel to 4 inches by 5¼ inches. And here's a close-up look at the background panel. I just love all the details in the wood grains. It's so lovely. So to give the background scene a little more interest, I'm going in with a brown colored ink. This one is from Catherine Pooler Inks and it's called Over Coffee. And I'm just going in with a blending brush and just blending that around the edges of the cardstock. And I love this process because once you're applying the ink on top of the die cuts, the wood grains just pops and this is so nice. I also went in with a darker shade of brown and just added a little more shadow and depth to the edges of the card panel. Alrighty, so now for the layering pansy. So I went in and I cut that out of yellow cardstock, and I'm going to go in with a Catherine Pooler ink and Rouge, and using my ink blending tool. You can pretty much use any ink blending tool that you have, but I just grabbed this one here that I had on my desk. So I'm going in and I'm just blending a little bit of the color onto the cardstock. And I'm doing this to all of the yellow pieces. That's pretty much all of the flower portion. And now for the foliage. I went in and die cut those pieces out of green cardstock, and I'm going in with another color ink by Catherine Pooler Inks, and I'm going in with this color called Sea Glass. And going in with another blending brush, I went ahead and blended some ink onto the die cut pieces, just to give some dimension. Okay, so after the blending process, it's time for layering all the pieces together. And it's actually pretty simple. You just follow the notches on the die cuts and layer all of the pieces together. And once I arranged everything together, I went in with liquid adhesive and adhered all of the pieces together. So now it's time to assemble all of the pieces together. So before I do that, I went ahead off screen. I trimmed down a black piece of cardstock slightly larger than my background panel. Then going in with liquid adhesive as well as foam squares, I am placing that onto my card panel. So I'm starting off with the foliage first. So I'm adhering that onto the background and then applying foam squares on top of the pansies to create dimension once I pop that onto the card panel. And you'll see in a little bit here. On most of my cards, I like using a combination of liquid adhesive and foam squares, just because I feel like the foam squares add a lot of dimension onto the card scene. And the foam squares that I'm using here in this video, I love because it peels off so easily. And this is the 3D foam squares from Scrapbook Adhesive, and we do have it in the shop if you're interested. I will, of course, link everything I use down below. Okay, so for the sentiment, I am going in with one of the sentiments from the You're a Keeper stamp set and stamp that out of white cardstock. I then went in with one of my banner dies that I have in my stash and ran that through my die cutting machine. Now using liquid adhesive, I adhere that on top of the card panel. Okay, so as I was looking at the flowers, I felt like it needed a little bit of something. So going in with a colored pencil, I started tracing the impression of the die cuts on the cardstock. So this just creates a little more interest onto the flowers and add a little more texture. And of course, I love using a white gel pen. I went in with the white gel pen and added highlights and details throughout the card panel. And for the final touches, I added gold embellishments onto the card panel here and there. This one is from Pink Fresh Studios. And again, I will link everything down in the description if you're interested. And the last thing I did was I adhered it onto a top folding card base in white. And I love the little white border that I created here. So I hope you guys found this tutorial helpful, and please don't forget to thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. Again, if you have any comments or questions, please leave it down below. Okay, until next time, I hope you guys have a great day. Bye-bye.